I have always wanted a classic Bentley, and I've just found this, a 1989 Turbo R that needs rescuing from Copart. Now, a lot of the time when cars like this come up for sale on Copart, they end up being bought by people who break them for spare parts. And I'm not about to let that happen. You see, I'm willing to spend way too much money, time, and effort making this old girl mine, fixing her up, and putting her back on the road where she belongs. This has got to be the coolest car I have ever owned. Just look at this thing. It is old school cool. I already completely love it. And if you've ever seen any of the old cars I've had on my channel before, this one is actually, on the exterior at least, in remarkable condition. Now I will give you the tour in a bit, but there are a couple of catches. Of course there are. The first is that, from what I can work out just from looking at the inspection history online, is that this has been off the road for about 5 to 6 years, and I've got absolutely no idea why. You see, when you buy a car like this from Copart, when it's listed as a does not run, they don't give you any extra information. And if you've seen me buy these kind of cars before on this channel, you'll know that that either means this needs a tank of fuel, or it could need a whole new engine, which would be less than ideal. And of course, the other catch is that I'm not a trained mechanic. I'm just learning as I go. And I've also never worked on one of these cars before. I don't know what kind of pain and suffering I'm about to encounter trying to get this old girl back on the road. Please don't be awful. Well, it all looks like it's here, I think. Don't know what this stuff is though. What's this, and why is it green? Right, so this is a 1989 car, and I've got to say, this is a very busy engine bay. A lot of old cars look on the surface to be a lot simpler than this one. Now, what I do know about this car from Google is that this is the Bentley L Series V8, and it's a 6.75 litre turbocharged unit. In fact, you can see the turbo there. It's absolutely massive. Now, of course, you don't refer to this car as the 6.75 litre. In the Bentley and Rolls-Royce world, where this engine was also featured, it's actually known as the 6 3/4 litre engine. That's how you say it. Or even better, just the 6 3/4 litre. And the internet also tells me that this engine was in continuous production for longer than any other engine ever. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let me just stop you there. I can see some people furiously typing into the comments to tell me that actually the engine that's been in production the longest is, of course, the non-LS version of the Chevy small block V8. And whilst that is true, that engine hasn't been in a production car for quite some time. But this Bentley L Series V8 first found a home in the 1959 Bentley S2, and then was continuously in a production car right up until 2020 in the Mulsanne. That's pretty cool. Now, I'm just taking all of this in just to see what we've got, because I've never dealt with one of these before. And the first thing that's making me slightly worried is this sticker just down here. Warning, contains asbestos. The use of asbestos in this car is limited to small in the following: underbody heat shields, parking brake pads, engine gaskets, gearbox, brake bands. Good to know. Make sure I stay away from any of that. Then the other big things in here really is kind of all of this gubbins here. Now you can see here it says do not use RR whatever. Don't put brake fluid in here. So the only stuff you can put in here is mineral oil. And what in here is, from my Google searches, these are reservoirs. The brake system, well, the hydraulic fluid reservoirs, the brake system is shared with the suspension system on the rear. It all runs off of, I don't know really. I mean, if I trace those pipes down there, goes down under there, and then there's a big pipe that goes down there, through there, and then down into here. I'm guessing it must do, because this looks like a massive hydraulic pump. and that powers the brakes and the rear suspension. Now this is, everything's green, so I'm guessing that it's all green pipes that come out of there, goes into this, which must be the ABS unit. I'm gonna have to get my head around that. I've never dealt with anything like this, but this fuel system, so this, I've kind of dealt with this before. If you saw my Mercedes S-Class video, the old W126, the black one. This is a mechanical fuel injection system. It is kind of mildly ECU controlled, but it's largely mechanical. I very much hope nobody is fiddled with this because they can be an absolute nightmare. I'm seeing it, there's a connector unplugged there. I don't even know where that goes to. It doesn't even look like that goes to anywhere, but it's there. Everything kind of looks like it, well, what was there? What's this? Don't know what that is. Oh no, looks like something's missing from in there. What does that say? Engine cooling fans, that'll be those relays. So something looks like it's missing from in here. Some kind of connector block or something. Just look at the size of this turbo. It's ginormous, it's very cool. So Bentley never actually disclosed power figures for these cars, believe it or not. I think it was because it was ungentlemanly to do so. But I think conservative estimates put these engines at about 300 brake horsepower, but I can't remember the figure right now, I'll put it on screen. A hell of a load of torque. These things, they max out at about, the red line is about 4,500 RPM. This thing is all about low-end grunt. And I'm just noticing in my hand there, that these things aren't plugged in, and these look familiar to me because these were also on the Mercedes, and these look like they, if I remember correctly, they plug into an ignition module. That's worrying because I remember looking at those and they were a fortune, and this one appears to be missing. That's not good at all. Yeah, look there, that looks like a, follow that, that goes down there, under there, yeah, look, and then down into, there's a distributor down there. What's in there? What's in here? So some relays and some, oh no, uh-oh. Uh-oh. What went there? Some kind of ECU. Please, not the main engine ECU. Please, not the main engine ECU. That's really not good, that. You can see there's a load of bolts in the bottom there as well. There's a load of nuts and bolts in there. I'm also just seeing, as I'm stood here, that wiper's missing. We've got something, oh, is that for that? What's this? That must go on there. I'm very worried about this now. Oh look, and in case anyone thinks that the title was clickbait, it says right here on the Copart sticker, lost type abandoned. So this is officially an abandoned Bentley. Let's take a look inside. Oh, things are less rosy inside. What's going on there? So the first thing to note is that the door card is not attached to the door. I'm seeing an electrical connector there, a block of wood holding the window up, so the regulator or the motor itself looks like it's missing. I'm not too concerned about the door card because it is there and it actually looks to be in all right condition from over here. You can see straight away that under the steering wheel there's some stuff missing. It looks like there's some relays missing from in there. There's a couple of things kind of loose and dangling, but nothing too stressful looking, if I'm honest. Although I never know what's actually been removed or not. Oh look, fog lamps, driver's door, window. So definitely having a problem then with the window if all of those are removed. Now there's a whole panel that's been removed here. I don't know what that would have been for, but I imagine it looked somewhat like this. This is all the wipers and stuffs, and the horn looks like it's been horn looks like it might have been removed. In fact, I can see in there's no bolt, so I wonder Yep. This has got me worried. Can't see anything missing though, but it does make me question, well, why were they in here and what's wrong with it? Radio's missing, which is a shame, but the rest of it all looks here. Also the seats in here, they look lovely actually. There's hardly any wear on that whatsoever, and the leather is really supple and feels like high quality. Now, what is worrying me slightly is, if I move this mat out, this looks wet, but it is not wet. So it looks like it has been wet. I have to investigate in there further. And if I come into the back, so you can see these kind of deep pile carpets. Now, are the mice been in here? Is that why that's... No, I don't think the mice have been in here, because look how easy that is to actually just kind of destroy. I think that's just someone who's sat in there. Oh, oh, this has had water in it, hasn't it? Ugh. Oh, metal nuts and bolts and all sorts of stuff there. I see that's dry. That's now dry, but that's definitely been wet. And I can see that someone has been under here as well, doing something. Oh, it's the horn. Oh, that's cool. At least I've got those bits. And then I think it's the same situation over here as well. Yeah, look, it's been wet in there. There's water has been in this car. But just look how cool it is in here though. Look at this interior. Apart from obviously the floor, this is amazing. Look at it, gorgeous. And then if we come into the boot, well, I mean, this is a shame. You can see there's a load of scratches on here. That's a shame. It looks like something's been on the boot there. That's a big one. And that's a shame because the rest of the car is in really, really nice condition. So the car's grey. I don't know what the official colour is. It's got this really nice gold pinstripe that runs up both sides, but I can't see any dents or anything like that. No other big scratches. It just seems to be that boot. There's a little bit of kind of that's kind of peeling a bit, but just take a look inside the boot. This was strapped down. There are no parts in here, which is a bit of a shame. It would be nice if those modules or the ECU thing or whatever is missing was in here. What's in here? What's in here? Huh, what's that? Oh look, Castrol hydraulic system mineral oil. That's like its own little holder in there. And they're actually, are they full? I don't know if they're full, but there's definitely liquid in them. I like that a lot. But yeah, that's just battery tray stuff. That doesn't shut. Huh. That'd be why. The locking mechanism is gone from the boot, which is weird. The cables are all there and the connectors are there, so it hasn't been cut, which is good news, but we need a new lock for that for sure. And then yeah, we've basically just got the door card. Does look in good condition. And then again on this side here, this, yeah look, they're just watermarks, but it's absolutely bone dry in here. And so this hasn't just got me thinking, it's actually got me a bit worried. And oh look, that trim around the windscreen's come off. That could be fixed easy, surely. It's got me a little bit worried, right? Because we've had quite a lot of rain here over the last couple of weeks, and this car 100% would have been outside for the entire time in the Copart lot. Now, I know this car's not leaking because it's currently bone dry, which means that water either got in there because the windows and doors were left open somewhere at some point, or what you see now is flood damage, and it's a non-declared flood damage. Now, Copart usually tell you when a car has been given to them or the insurance loss type is flood damage. They usually tell you that. But this sticker on the windscreen has got me questioning things. So when you get a car from Copart, they always have these stickers on it. Now this letter at the end tells you kind of how this car ended up in Copart. And C, I do believe C is the letter for when a private seller or a small motor trader sells a car through Copart. So this car has not come from an insurer. Has this car been flooded and then a private seller has just put it through Copart? Does that mean that the engine might be hydrolocked and destroyed? Does that mean that's why these electrical modules are missing? Because they were removed because they had a whole load of water ingress and they went bad? Uh-oh, what have I bought? Also, that'd be quite naughty if this has been flood damaged like that and they've just tried to sell it on. Right, I just found this photo online from a Turbo R. This area right here is this area here, and you can see there's a big Motronic Bosch ECU. That's the main engine ECU. It's missing from my car. And then you can see down there, I hope you can see that down there, there's kind of like 2 big coils or something like that, I'm not sure. Three big coils or some kind of ignition stuff missing. Okay, let's not panic. Are there any on eBay? There's not going to be. There's just not going to be. Okay, so I think I might have found one on eBay. It's currently on there, £300 or best offer. I don't even know if that's the right one. I did see someone write on the internet, there's nothing more expensive than a cheap Bentley. So the plot thickens. Just having an extra poke around the car, and I'm in the glove box. Firstly, there's a load of old tax discs in here. This goes back to 2008. Minor league cool. What was absolutely fantastic is that I've got 2 extra spare keys which work, so that's good news. But this bit of paperwork is, well, this paperwork, let me cover up the guy's name. This is an NCT report. I hope you can see that. An NCT stands for National Car Testing. This car has been in the Republic of Ireland, and I'm assuming this is like their MOT, this is their annual inspection. This is dated October 2019, so this lines up with the whole off the road for 5 or 6 years thing. This is the last evidence I have that the car was actually running. Okay, so the car was in Ireland. This is, though, a UK car. This car was originally registered here in the UK. But check this out. Can you notice anything strange about the rear of this car? Ignore the fact that you can see the spare wheel hanging down there. That's not strange, that's just broken. Anything you can see. Can you see it? Can you see it? Let me get a little bit closer. Can you see it now? How about now? That is its Irish plate. And look, I haven't pulled it off, but it's the same at the front. Clearly there's 2 plates there, look. That one's properly stuck on though. In the Republic of Ireland, with a flood damaged car that I wanted to get rid of without telling anyone it was flood damaged, would I put the original UK plates back on it and send it back to the country where it is still registered, the UK, and just sell it as a private individual? Maybe. I mean, what's the chance that's happened? That's naughty. That is naughty. And it gets even deeper. Wait, there's still more evidence that I think this might have happened. So you see how this seat is really far forward? Well, I just tried to move it and you can't, because they're actually electrically operated here. And it turns out that there are ECUs for these seats. And if we come into the back, you know where I found all this stuff under here? Well, guess what? Yeah, you guessed it. There's an ECU for this driver's seat that's missing because it's been in a flood. Right, so I wanted to get to the bottom of if this car's been flood damaged and is an insurance write-off. This is not a sponsored segment of the video. I just paid for one of these car history checks to get to the bottom of it. The car hasn't been written off in any European nation, apparently, according to this. It hasn't been stolen, hasn't been anything. So maybe we'll find out one day what happened to this car. Maybe we'll unravel the mystery. Maybe we won't. But what the check did tell me was that I appear to be the third owner of this car, which is absolutely amazing. Third owner since 1989. Cool. And then, so the next place that this takes my brain is this engine hydrolocked? Was this car driven through a flood and it's taken on water and it's just caused catastrophic damage? Or was this car parked and got flooded? Now, if it was parked and got flooded, that's much more preferable. But if this engine ingested water and detonated itself, we could be in real big trouble. Like really, really big trouble, genuine trouble. What I need to do is see if this engine turns over by hand, which means I actually need to go and get some tools because I don't have any here. Yes, I began a Will It Run video with no tools. I was just too excited to get on the car. The van is still going strong. It's so useful having a van. But first, I need to see to my raging caffeine addiction. Oh yeah, can I just get a large black Americano, please? No, that's it, thanks. That's alright, thanks a lot.
Have a good day.
You too, cheers. I don't normally come to Starbucks. That is ginormous. That's how that's going to make me feel when I finish that. Love a bit of caffeine. Oh, sorry mate. You had a crash? This should do for now, I hope. And so I think the goal here, what I actually want to achieve in this video, is to get this car running and driving just enough to at least get this across town to my workshop. And if you're wondering why we're not in the workshop right now, it's because there's another project stuck on the lift. There's just no room. So we're kicking it old school, back out here on the driveway at home, like old times. Right, so what I've done is I have removed the spark plugs. So I just want to state for the record, I don't think there's water in this engine. I can't see any evidence of flood damage in the engine bay. I don't think any water, if this was in a flood, I can't see any water getting up that high. But I'm doing this just in case there is water in the cylinders or in the engine. I'm just trying to be careful. So on this side, you can see all the spark plugs. They don't look too bad actually. I think they look about, focus. They look about right. And then on this side, I didn't quite remove all of the spark plugs because this coil down there, I can't get that out and I'm pulling it and I'm worried that I'm going to break the rubber, so I need to find a better way once I've got more tools with me. And then there's another one under there and I've got no interest whatsoever in taking any of this out to actually even get to it. So I've just taken the front two out and you can see that front one there, that's actually, it looks like it's running quite rich. It's quite black and sooty. And then this second one, focus, that also looks quite rich, I think. And then what I should do, which I haven't done yet, is check the oil situation. So that is on minimum. Oh no, I can smell fuel in there. It's lost a bit of its viscosity as well, but can't see any evidence of water. So that's okay. So really there's nothing for it now but to get a socket onto the crank and then just try and turn this engine over very slowly. Hopefully it's not seized, hopefully the rods aren't bent and it hasn't actually hydrolocked or anything like that, and we're all good. Okay, so I've got my bar here and the socket onto the crank. Please turn over, please turn over. Oh, yes, lovely. Oh, that was okay, that was easy. Okay, and again. Yeah. Okay, so I've now spun this engine over more than 360 degrees and it spins nice and free. This is absolutely amazing news. It means that I am now actually in with a chance, kind of getting this old girl running. I think what I want to do now, should we just try turning her over on the starter motor with the key? So I've just been going completely out of my mind doing the most simple task, which is connecting the battery. So there is a battery in the car and I'm trying to hook up these terminals. That does not go on there. There's not enough clearance. This cable hits that. That is the negative. That won't go in there. Oh, what on earth is happening? I'm trying to connect that to there. It doesn't quite stretch over and you can't push it down because, again, the cable's jam on there, so you just can't connect the battery. And it looks like someone else has been in here also not being able to connect the battery, and look at the lumps that they've taken out of the terminals. So yeah, this has been worked on by someone with my level of skill, and I'm just now finding out that you can buy, or the actual battery is supposed to put in here, basically just has these terminals flipped around, so the positive is down there and then the negative is down there, and then that makes much more sense because then that would actually connect down there and this one would connect down there. You learn something new every day, and I'm just reading here that it's an 072 battery that has that kind of configuration, and as it's Sunday there's only one place I'm going to be able to get a battery. Let's go. Right, so I think it's this one, so you can see that you've got the positive and the negative down there. So it's an HB072, which is actually the same, I think, as an HCB069. I mean, this thing's only got 600 cranking amps, which doesn't seem enough for the old 6 3/4 litre, but I'm not sure if this will fit, but we've got to give it a go, And now I've got to do that thing where I don't buy anything else while I'm in here. Don't walk over to the tool bit. Don't walk over to the tool bit. Oh, I love tools. Right, and that just set me back 100 quid. And that's probably going to be one of the cheapest things I buy for this car. Okay, so there it is. Fitted significantly-ish better than the old battery. These terminals definitely need to go on more, but that should do us for now. Now really it's time to just turn the key and see what, if anything, happens. Now this car is sufficiently old enough, I think, that the ECU doesn't control the starter motor, so I should be able to turn the key and the key should start the starter. And so we've got electricity, some of the lights are on in here, the ignition light's on, but that is all. We're in park. Now don't forget, the engine's obviously not going to fire, least of all because there are 6 spark plugs removed, but there's no coil or anything either, so it won't be getting any spark. Let's just see what happens. Nothing. I'm turning the key. Nothing. Oh, why did I think that was going to be? There are a lot of weird buttons in here. Why aren't you doing anything? Maybe I got it wrong. Maybe it is ECU controlled. I mean, at least it's not on fire, but it's a small consolation. Okay, how about now? So the engine turns over, and I worked out why it wasn't. There's something weird going on with this car. I mean, there's always something weird going on with these kind of cars when you buy them. Get off the tripod. Have a look at this. So we're down under the glove box. This is the fuse panel, and the keen-eyed amongst you might notice that there are no fuses. Every single fuse has been removed, apart from one. There's also a load of, I imagine, much bigger relays that all go down there. There's a couple of plugs unplugged. There's something there. I don't know where that goes to. I can't quite see it. There was one fuse in here for the interior lights. It's the wrong one, but I just put that into ignition. So it's a 10 amp fuse. It says it wants a 15, but you know, risk it for a biscuit. So yeah, put that fuse in there. Well, I mean, who took, where have they all gone? Why are they, is it because they all got wet and they all got gammy? I don't know, I just don't know. But the engine turns over, so that's good news. And on the 2 cylinders that had the spark plugs in them, it sounded like there was compression. No, doesn't look like any water or anything has come flying out of the holes that don't have any spark plugs in. Yeah, there's no evidence of any splashing or anything, so that's all good news as far as I'm concerned. So what I really want to quickly do now is a quick compression check of the engine. You can see I've got my compression tester already hooked into that first cylinder there, and I just googled it, and the way they number the cylinders on these engines is, this is bank A and that's bank B. So this is A1, A2, A3, A4, B1, B2, B3, B4. Now the reason that I want to do a compression check is it's just a really good indication of how healthy the engine is. It's not fail safe, but it gives us a really good indication. It means that the pressure in each of the cylinders is good. Basically, it means that all the valves are sealing properly. It means the piston rings are doing their job. It means there's no hole in the side of the engine. I don't actually know, I've just thought, I don't know what values I'm aiming for. Let me just Google that as well. Okay, I'm actually struggling to find the values. So let's just test it, see what they come out at. The main thing, one of the big things, it's going to want to be over about 120 PSI, I'm sure. One of the main things is that they're all kind of even. You don't want massive discrepancies between all of the cylinders. I also managed to get the other 2 plugs out on the other side. I just gave it a good old bit of, let's try this then. Let's have a look at what we've got going on. So that is 145 PSI. I'm calling that good. Now I've got my tester hooked up to cylinder A2. 170. So straight away there's a big variance there, isn't there, between those 2 cylinders. Now with a car that has been sat for a while, I am willing to forgive it, because it's entirely possible that, say, the piston rings, they kind of need to come back into action and stuff like that. What I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to tear through the rest of this test, get them all done, and then just report back. See you in a sec. Hello, you all right? Come and have a look at this. Bentley 6 3/4 litre V8. Currently, it's currently a non-runner. It's currently a non-runner, son. I'm just doing a compression check.
What do you think? Should point to it. What's going on?
And
what's this, Daddy?
in a few years, you can help, because I really did struggle to get my hand in there, so we can get your little hands in.
He's like, actually, Daddy, I'm too busy.
What do you think to it? Look at that turbo. Look, that's a turbo. Over here, look.
Ooh. What's that? God, there's a lot of parts to this.
It's not too bad.
Is it not?
No, it's not too bad. It turns over, so that's all right. I'm just going through it now and compression testing it. Okay, I have news. So cylinder A1, the one here at the front, 145, then number 2, 170, then A3, this one here, right the way down at 100 PSI. And then A4 at 150, and then on the other side, that first cylinder, bang on 150, the second one, bang on 150, 150, and then B4, that back, at the back there, I cannot get the compression tester in there. I can't get it, I can't find the hole. you can barely get your fingers in there to get the spark plug back in. I can't thread I just gave up. I was about 20 minutes I'm going to say it's 150. So the one there that really stands out is, well, there's two really. A2 at 170, which is way higher, but then the one I actually a bit worried about, A3 at 100 psi. Now you can do the old trick where you put a little bit of engine oil down into the cylinder to help seal the piston rings up and bring the compression value up. I don't have any oil here, so I'm not going to do that. This is enough compression to get the engine started once I have all the other stuff. So I think the thing to do now, really, because this is showing me that, you know, there's the valves are valving, the pistons are still pistoning, things like that. Is if that was, you know, if these were down at 20 psi or 0, that's where I'd be really worried. So I've got a load of parts to order. I've got to get a new ECU, coils, whatever else it is that I might need to get this car running. I'm going to order them and then we'll reconvene. Okay, so I've actually just run into a big parts problem. So the ECU that I flashed up on the screen earlier that was on eBay is absolutely not the engine ECU. It's not the one I need. So I've definitely got my hopes up there. I've searched all through eBay. There are 0 engine ECUs for this car. Usually you can search through eBay as well and find loads of people breaking certain cars and you can get them to pull parts off. No one's even breaking any of these cars that I can see on eBay. I think there's one, but it's a later car, so it's not what I need. Now there are 2 main players in the UK in terms of spares for these cars. I'm going to call them now and see if they can help, because this is I've never had such a problem trying to find a part to buy.
The Rolls-Royce and Bentley parts specialist. To speak to one of our parts advisors.
Hiya. I've got a 1989 Bentley Turbo R engine ECU. I can't find any anywhere. I didn't know if you guys could help.
Have you got a VIN number there?
CH Charlie Hotel 26. No, so I just bought the car and it doesn't have an ECU. So.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah. What we would normally do is take your original one up from you and get it repaired.
Right.
But the fact that your one isn't actually there.
Yeah.
Obviously, that can't happen. Thanks a lot. Take care.
Bye.
Cheers.
Let's try this other company, see what they're saying. I was wondering if you can help. I've got a 1989
Bentley Turbo R engine ECU. You're the last 5 of your chassis number?
Yeah.
Just having a look what's available for you. I've got new ones on the shelf, actually.
New ones?
Wow. Got brand new ones on the shelf, sir. Let me see. They should be £860 with, and I could probably give you a small discount. However, I've got 5 of these. I can do you one of these for 250 quid if you want it.
That would be amazing. That would be absolutely amazing if you could.
Yeah, I can sort one of these out for you, mate.
How have you got new ones? That's quite a niche thing to keep in stock.
Because we buy up old factory stock, we buy everything we're offered, if I'm being brutally honest.
Yeah. Ah, that's just cool. That's cool to know. All right. Yeah. Let's go for that.
All right. Cheers, pal.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye-bye.
£311, including the tax and shipping. That's actually really not that bad. That's really not that bad. Like you said, there was supposed to be £850, was it? So he's just, I don't know why he gave me that discount. I didn't go, I'm a YouTuber, and I didn't do any of that. That company's called Flying Spares. So, you know, definitely hit those guys up if ever you need anything. I'm definitely going to be back in touch with those because I already know there's a load of other bits and bobs. I can't believe it's a brand new ECU off the shelf. That's incredible. Right, this car, I was really worried about this. This car, I think, should be a goer. Okay, so we are now a few days later and the ECU has arrived. It's in this box, I haven't even looked at it yet. Today, I've got a feeling it's going to be a good day and it's going to go my way. At least that's what I'm telling myself. But to be fair, the sun has made a rare appearance. I'm at home, I'm working out at the back of the Vivaro van. We're back on the fold-up table. Life is good. There's a big yellow sticker on the back of this box saying attention, which I'm not going to read. I've got no time for that kind of negativity today. And there she is. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a new old stock Bosch Motronic ECU. Look at it, it's absolutely mint. It really is brand spanking new. Look at it. I mean, that's absolutely crazy to think that this has been sat on a shelf somewhere since potentially the 80s, just waiting to be used. Probably thinking, I'm just never going to get used, giving up all hope. And then I come along. Right. Okay, so what was the total of this again? So £311, including all the shipping stuff and all of that, which is not a bad deal at all. But do you remember when I said there is nothing more expensive than a cheap Bentley? Well, I went around the rest of the car just looking at things kind of just to get it running, just to get this car serviced, and then went on to spend a further £887.40 on all of this stuff. So, and I'm nowhere near done with the amount of parts that I know I need. In fact, I have just remembered I then spent another £250 on the contents of that box, which I'll get onto, and then another 100 and something. It stacks up very quickly, but I think this is going to be worth it. Right, where do I start? We've surely got to start with connecting this ECU. Please fit. Now, one thing I am hoping is that this ECU isn't like on really modern cars where you need to code it in, because if this needs coding in, well, quite frankly, I can't remember where I put my MS-DOS laptop, so that's not going to happen. It's surely just plug and play like so. I really don't know. And so some of the other parts that are missing from here, they're all in this little area here, and I basically worked this out just by looking at parts diagrams and photos on Google of engine bays, and kind of just started piecing it together. It's all of the ignition fundamentals really. So it's missing 2 coils, so I've got these NGK ones, and then 2 of, that's just one obviously, but 2 of these are Bosch ignition amplifiers, which I'm assuming amplify the ignition. So I've got 2 of those. I don't really know how this all hooks up. There's just a load of wires down here. So what I'm finding a little bit weird about this car is that it's kind of, so it's a 1989. So this is when fuel injection first started to, you know, really get into its stride. But you can tell this is still the beginning. And it's a really strange blend of having an ECU, but also having coils. And there are also 2 distributors down the back here. You can see them down there. And rather than having 1 distributor with 8 terminals, there are 2 distributors with 4 each. And as I'm recording this, I'm now realizing that I didn't buy a new rotor or anything to go in there. So hopefully everything in those 2 distributors is absolutely fine. But yeah, a mix of modern ECUs, old school distributors, coils, new schoolish ignition amplifiers, all comes together to create this kind of crazy system. So 2 coils hooked, everything's hooked up. Ignition amplifiers there, ignition coils. Obviously nothing is bolted down because I don't know how many times I'm going to have to take this out, switch wires around and things. I just used a multimeter with the ignition on to work out which was the positive and negative going into each of the coils. I also had to add this. This is one of the things that I bought. It was second hand. It's the ECU, main ECU and ABS relay. That's installed. ECU's, everything's installed, so basically we're ready right here now to turn the key and see if anything happens at all. For the record, nothing is going to happen. There's no way I'm just going to have spark like that. It's just not going to be, it's not going to be that easy. And what I've got is my spark tester hooked up here to this second plug. Now obviously all of the other spark plugs are out and I've kind of just got the coils dangling, so whether they're going to start arcing out, I don't know. But really I'm just going to be checking this as I turn the engine over. If this lights up, then it means we've got spark. So if I hold you in there, reach through and turn the key. Oh, okay, some buzzing that was definitely not there before. Something was happening, so let's just try and crank it, see what happens. Nada, nothing, no spark. What did I tell you? I did say it wasn't going to be as easy as that. Try it again. Okay, what's interesting there is that I'm not getting any spark whatsoever when I'm cranking, but when I first turn the key from off to on, the light does illuminate. Check this out. So the key's off, and then if I just turn the key on, you see that? For a brief second there it flashed, and then if I actually crank, that's odd. So electricity is getting to the spark plugs, at least on that bank through that distributor, but absolutely nothing is happening when you then actually crank. This is going to be a long day, I think. Where on earth do I go from here? I've got no idea. I'm so out of my depth. This is not a modern car and it's not an old car, so it's very opaque. Okay, so what I've done is I've moved the spark plug tester over to the other side now, just to see if I'm getting anything on that side, because we've got these tandem or this twin setup. I can't see from here, so my helper is just going to turn the key and crank for me and just hold it. All right, stop. Okay, we had a little bit of a flash there, to be honest, but it then stopped. All right, try it again first. Stop. Okay, it flashes on, so it's flashing on the first go. On the very first crank, we're getting spark on this side, but then it just doesn't come back. So the thing with this car, like, firstly, they were all hand built.
Oh, where's your dum-dum?
But secondly, just look at the interior and look at how little plastic there is. Almost everything in this car is either leather, wood, or metal. Yeah. There's a couple of like that panel there. The facing is plastic, and that stalk is plastic. That's a metal vent.
Is it? No, I'm talking about the ones below it, the black ones.
Yeah, they're plastic, but everything else is. I mean, look at the quality of this leather.
No, it's really nicely done.
It's gorgeous.
What do you think, baby boy?
Do you like it? Do you want to go for a spin? Well, unfortunately, it's not running, so you can't go for a spin.
And there's a load of mould in it.
Oh, yes! Oh, I've got spark. It was so obvious as well. Ready? Yes. Remember, the fuse box was just completely empty of all the fuses. Well, I've just put a select few fuses in. So I think the one that really did it was this one over here, B5 fuel injection. Kind of makes sense, doesn't it? And we now have spark, which is fantastic news. I should probably check spark on the other side as well, on the other bank, because we've got the two distributors. But now that surely means that the ECU, this new ECU, is working, because the ECU sends the signal to the coils are working. Coil. Okay, I'm just trying to process this. Ooh. Something just bogged down, but it was sparking. We are getting spark on that other side. Ooh. That doesn't feel good, but spark. Okay, next, probably fuel. So, fuel. I have not heard the fuel pump kick in at any stage yet. There could be many reasons for that. Top of the list is there might not be a fuel pump fitted to this car. I haven't checked. I don't know where it is. I don't know if it's an in-tank fuel pump or it's external. I haven't checked. What I am doing is just assuming there is a fuel pump, because I'm lazy, basically, if you're wondering why. So let's assume there's a fuel pump. No matter where you click the key, the ignition key, can't hear any fuel pump. Now, I know from working on the Mercedes previously that had a very similar fuel setup to this, injection system, the Bosch injection system. When you turn the key, you can actually hear the fuel rush to the fuel distributor. This is the fuel distributor, and you can hear all of this kind of gubbins. There's a fuel pressure regulator and everything. You can hear it kind of briefly charge up, you know, and you can hear liquid basically kind of coursing through the system. So I don't want to get into the fuel pump, start testing it and all of that. Let's start with the things that are the easiest to test and then progressively get harder. The easiest thing to test is going to be one of these relays here. Okay, so in here we have this cover. This sits on there like that. This is where we've been working here in the ECU, and then here's all that other ignition stuff. We've also got this selection of relays, and on the underside of this cover we can see what they're all for. I can see that this one here relates to that. This is the fuel pump relay. Now there's a load of different ways that you can test to see if this relay has died, basically. You know, you can get all fancy and you can start probing it with your multimeter. I mean, look, for argument's sake, let's actually just, if I pop the relay out, if I was to shove that in there and then ground that, look, you can see that we're getting our continuous 12, that's a healthy 12 volts, getting our continuous 12 volt into the relay. So that's good. Now you can also buy all sorts of relay testers, or I could just hook this up to a battery and see if it starts clicking. That's all well and good, but there is a much easier way to see if this relay is at fault. And that is by doing this. Now this little sticker here tells me that we also have the relay here for the starter. That's this one. We know the starter motor works, obviously, because we've been cranking the engine. So if I just remove this relay and put it in there, that is the easiest way of telling us if this relay that I've just taken out of there is at fault. And now what I'm going to do is just turn the key, and then we need to listen out for something in here priming. So even with a known working relay in the fuel pump spot, we're getting nothing. So our search for the issue must go on. Actually, what I'm going to do, so this is the relay that was in the starter. Let's just double check that that doesn't work. So if I put that into the old fuel relay into the starter thing, does the engine turn over? No. So this relay is bad. So I think this relay is bad, but there's also another problem somewhere else in the system. And I've got a brand new relay here. I'm just trying this in there as well. Why not? I bought a few of these with all of these spare parts. Let's try that in there. Let's just see if we get the same result. Yeah. Nada. Right. So let's just get the cap off of this relay holder. Just gives me a little bit better access with the multimeter. So we've got our continuous 12 volts there. Now this is this pin on the other side, should be nothing. Now here's what I'm going to do. I've got a little bit of wire here. I'm going to give myself a little length. Snipperoo. Got some wire strippers. These things are the best things ever. The wires a little twizzeroo. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to jumper this relay socket. So we're going to just bypass any relay, and I'm going to connect the continuous feed straight over to the supply for the fuel pump. And we'll see if this does anything. And what this does is, this is bypassing the ignition switch. So if this works, we know that there's going to be some kind of issue between the ignition switch and this relay, and then with the relay as well, because the relay is broken, so something might be blowing the relay. Right, so I remove my microphone. I'm going to put you over here, and when I jab this wire into the other side, and then when I jab this wire into the other side, we shall see if anything happens. There we go. There we go. So we know there's a fuel pump fitted. I could hear the fuel there. I hope you did hear that. When I jumper this, we've got fuel. So it looks like we might have an issue. I don't know where, if I'm completely honest with you. I've just hang on. So I'm not sure where this issue is going to be, because I have quite literally just exhausted my electrical know-how. So there's a problem between the ignition switch and here, I'd say. Now I don't think that's going to prevent us from trying to start this car, because I can just jam this in there and bypass that ignition switch. We were getting spark, so that's fine. Spark, air, fuel and compression. They're the main ingredients to get an engine to run, an internal combustion petrol engine to run. So I'm thinking jumper this and let's see if it fires. But what I cannot do is just start this car straight away. There are a few things that we need to do first. Number one is, now I've taken those other two spark plugs back out of the engine, so there's no spark plugs in there whatsoever. Starter relay is out, isn't it? Oh, which one is the one that works? Put it back in. This one? No. Of course I was going to pick up the one that doesn't work. With the starter relay back in, just trying to build I just want to build a bit of oil pressure in the engine just by turning it over like that. Right, the next thing that I want to do is check the coolant situation. Oh no, there is actually coolant in there. There's not a lot, there's a little bit, although that might just be the reservoir, to be honest. Yeah, I think that's just in the reservoir. And I'm just realising right now I don't actually have any coolant, I don't think. No coolant, completely forgot to bring it with me. So that was completely irrelevant check. We can still run the engine for a minute if there's no coolant in there. What I do want to do though is very briefly, does that even make sense? What I want to do though is just add a little bit more engine oil, because that was on minimum, wasn't it? So I've just got a bit of 10W40 already opened that was laying around. Just going to give it a little bit of this, just to make sure that the engine is definitely properly lubricato, you know. So with that done as well, there's a transmission thingamajigger, so I'll check that level in a minute. There's a transmission dipstick there, that's it, I knew I'd seen it. How do you get that out? Oh, that's tight. Right, let's have a look. The transmission is very full. Overfull, is that over? Are we saying overfull? Let's try that again. That is absolutely insanely overfull. Hope you can see that. The hot mark is right down there, and we've got transmission fluid right up here. That's absolutely nuts. Who filled this up? All right, I'm just going to kind of hope that what's happened there is because the car's just been sitting for so long, a load of fluid has come out of the torque converter and has made its way into the sump, and there's actually the perfect amount of transmission fluid in there, because I'm not minded to drain it, to be honest with you. Right now, anyway, we'll just say that's fine. Pretend I never even showed you that. And then let's see if this engine oil has gone down. Gone down? Gone up. Whoa, it's way under. Still. Let's just jam the rest of this bottle in. There was about 3/4 of a litre, no, this is a 2 litre bottle. Half, 1 litre, 1.5 litres. Mental arithmetic not being my strong point. That's all I've got with me, so give that a minute to settle. Has that made any difference whatsoever? No. Wow, that's way under full. The level's gone down since we started turning the engine over. Okay, that was a few more minutes. Ah, it's just shy of the minimum mark. Yeah, it's just shy of the minimum mark. That's so irritating. There's absolutely no way in a million years I'm starting this engine without enough oil in it. Not only because everyone will kill me in the comments, but it's just not the right thing to do. So irritating. Okay, not a problem, not a problem. One other thing I'd like to do is I just want to check before we go out as well. I want to check the levels in this hydraulic fluid reservoir pumping system. I've no idea how you do it. I'm guessing it's underneath this cover. This big, massive, great warning cover. The likes of which I have never seen on a car before. It's almost like it's trying to tell you something really important. No, I haven't read it. Oh, I should read it now, shouldn't I have said that? Do not use RR363 universal or any other brake fluid. Use only hydraulic system mineral oil, LHM from special container. Am I even supposed to be taking this off? Oh look, it tells you how to read the thing. On here, full, add 500 mil. It's actually using this. Oh no, I think that's full actually. Oh no, we're good. There's two little level things on here. Read the instructions. Okay, so the question is now, do I go to the workshop and see if I've got any more 10W40, or do I just go straight to Halford's? Okay, now I have just had a thought. I know that there's a project car here that you're not allowed to see. There's a Land Cruiser there that I've never shown you, that you will find out about very soon. But this Merc, between this Merc and this other car you can't see, I am sure I've seen oil in the back of one of these cars. Whew. No way. No way, Jose. Ah, oh, how jolly is that? Castrol Magnatec 10W40. It's open. Is it open? No, it's not open. It is now. Hold on, mate. Whoa, 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 whoa. Stop, 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 stop. Don't go straight into the comments to type furiously asking when you're going to see that Merc on the channel. That Mercedes is by far the most requested car that I have for people wanting to see again. I promise you that car is going to be on the road again this year. I've started buying parts for it. I've got plans for it. I promise you, you will be seeing that car again. And trust me, you know it's definitely going to get done as well, because it's an absolute eyesore and the missus is at her wit's end having to look at it outside the house every single day. Believe me, if there's a motivation to get that car done, it's for that. Bang on the money. Now, when I flick the ignition switch, the fuel gauge is barely moving. Some of these other gauges have actually come to life. The outside temp gauge is working, battery gauge is working. Don't forget, I've still got loads of the fuses all disconnected. These lights are working. what else? Oil, things are off. The fuel gauge is moving just the tiniest bits. I think that is working, but I think there's just such a small amount of fuel in here. So this is probably the most prepared I've ever been. I have got a load of fuel in there. Where's the nozzle gone? Oh, all the way over there. Also, check this out. Someone made this for me. So you know how someone made me a key ring for the Range Rovers? Well, in the Range Rover video. Guy called Chris, I believe it was, made this for me. It's laser etched. And then on the back, it's got the registration for the van. Some people are just incredibly kind. Thank you, bud, for that. I really appreciate it. So cool. Now this fuel flap is electronically, but the electronics are not working. So there is actually on the inside of the boot, there is actually a cable release. Yeah. Oh no, that doesn't fit that. Cool. Well, how am I going to get that in there? Oh, I didn't bring my other funnel. Just cleaned this out. Will that be enough to? Absolutely not. It won't even go in there. Oh, how do I get the fuel in there? How do I get the fuel in there? And then like that. Does mean I've got to hold it with one hand and then pour that massive can with the other. So I'm not sure how this is going to go. This is going to end in tears. And I always do things like this, and there's always someone furiously typing in the comments, why didn't you just do X? And it's like, well, because I didn't think about it. I didn't think that was an option. Oh no. Yeah. I sure hope this isn't diesel. Okay, I think I managed to get more than 5, but less than 10 litres in. Anywhere in that range. Spilt a fair amount, I'm not going to lie to you. I am not going to lie to you. Okay, so if I turn the key, you should see a little bit of movement. Still basically registering on empty, but that's a lot more movement in the needle since putting some fuel in. So that should be enough for what we need to do. Right, and so it's not strictly true that we've got spark, is it? Because I took all of the spark plugs out, and as I showed you, they are all pretty fouled up. Now I have got some new spark plugs, some new NGK Iridium spark plugs. Now firstly, these things were not cheap, and the prices just varied wildly. There was one place that wanted £24 per spark plug, which I thought was a bit excessive, and there's some places where you got them and they were like £8 per spark plug, which is what I bought. Yeah, these are different to the ones that were in there. So the ones that were, oh no, these are the wrong spark plugs, aren't they? Oh, are they wrong? Can I use them? Is that the same size? Yeah, no, they're the correct spark plugs. They're just different, require a different socket. Look, this one, new one's got a smaller socket, but that's the same. Everything else about it, that thread's the same size, I do believe. Hang on, let me just put one in now I've said that, and then I'll get back to what I was trying to say. It does indeed go in. Right, let me open another one so I can show you what it was I was about to say. We've got different spark plugs, basically. The ones I'm putting in are BKR GR5EIX, which I do believe are the actual correct ones. The ones that have come out are GR4IX. So this was a worthwhile exercise. I don't know what the difference is between these spark plugs. I know that a lot of the time the gaps are different. I mean, the gap is visibly different. There's a much bigger gap on this old plug. The gaps are different. Some of the spark plugs burn hotter versus colder. I don't know where this one sits, this old one. I just know that this, well, not that I know, I never know anything 100%, but from all of my research, these are the correct spark plugs. So I'm just going to fit these in now, and I'll see you in a second. Well, not a second, because some of these are hard to get to. You'll see me in a second. It won't be a second for me. You know what I mean. Okay. The spark plugs are now all fitted. All 8 spark plugs. That wasn't too bad, to be honest. Ow. Oh, my hand is stuck. Okay, spark plugs attached. Hello, mate. The postman just came. Cover up my address. Not economically viable post. What? I'm sending post to myself. Check this out. Check this out. This is the very first one of these in the world that I've just had made. It's the first time I'm seeing it with you. Starty Falter Garage Services, established 2021. Starty Falter, get it? Were you there for that video? Everyone kept leaving comments saying, "Oh, you should put that on a t-shirt or something." It's got an NEV embroidered on the left wrist. You can pick one of these up in my store if you so choose. Starty Falter Garage Services, established 2021. You can also get a hoodie and a t-shirt. There'll be a link in the description below. And it seems like the most apt thing to be wearing as we go for what could potentially be our first proper start of this engine. What impeccable timing that was. It's a great way to support the channel. Does it look all right? It looks quite good, doesn't it? What do you reckon?
I love it. It's right.
It's come out quite well. Oh, not quite. Hang on. It's come out well, hasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's great.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Starty Falter.
I like the little
Embroidered.
yeah, the little bit on the sleeve. That's a nice touch. Oh, not too shabby. Starty Falter, Arlo. Starty Falter.
Okay, so firstly, if this car starts, I'll be absolutely amazed. I just will. Just doesn't go that easy, right? Now, I hope you can see, I know it's bright here and dark there, but what I'm hoping, well, one of the things that I really need to happen, if this engine does start, we need this, you see how the back is dropped right down on the wheel? We need this to raise up. You can see it's really high at the front and then really low at the back. So this car has self-leveling suspension on the back. It's a hydraulic system. And so this is a weird system. This is shared with the brakes. The brakes and the rear suspension leveling operate on the same system. If this car does run, one of the big things that's going to make me incredibly happy is if this system pressurizes and this raises up. Now, I said it's shared with the braking system. So if we come inside the car quickly and then come down to the brake pedal, you'll see this car has got no brakes, none whatsoever. And that's because the system has just lost pressure over however long this car has been sitting. Now, I don't know anything about these systems. This is just a little bit of what I've Googled. My understanding is that this whole thing here is the hydraulic pump. So it's driven off of the cam in this car, which, like an LS engine or a Dodge Hemi, the cam runs through the centre of the engine because this is a pushrod V8. Now the engine starts running, it's going to drive this pump. This is the hydraulic pump. This is going to pressurise the system, and then when it's pressurised, we should hopefully get that rear suspension working and get our brakes back. The brakes work completely differently on this car to any kind of normal setup. This is very much the setup that was used on these Bentleys and on the Rolls Royces of this era also. Some of you will be familiar, you know, with like the Rolls Royce Silver Shadow, Silver Spirit, I believe, Silver Spirit 2. Lots of these Rolls Royce and Bentleys shared this same system. Why they use it, I don't know. I've got absolutely no idea. I can't comment on it, but that's what I'm hoping. If this car runs, that pump needs to kick in. We need to get our brakes back, and that needs to pump up, which is a tall order, to be quite honest with you. And now I'm just kind of chatting because I'm procrastinating actually trying to start this engine, because this is where everything's either going to go really wrong or just quite well, or nothing is going to happen, which would probably be even worse, to be honest with you. Make sure that spark plug's on, lead is on properly. So we've picked up an audience for the first start because it's snack time as well. Where can you go?
You're making that high chair really dirty with your hands.
Oh, sorry. I'm in so much trouble.
Do you want this one because you weren't too sure?
Yeah, what is it again?
It's a carrot and raisin muffin.
Mm.
A carrot and raisin muffin.
From the baby weaning book.
From the baby weaning book, yeah.
Mm.
Look, you can have this one. Have this one.
You enjoying it?
Nice.
You like them, don't you? Do you want to see this car start? Well, no. Let me rephrase that. No, let me rephrase that.
Started now.
Let me rephrase that. Would you like to see me attempt to start this car?
Go for it.
Right, so I'm going to give it a go. I'm just going to jumper that relay then for the fuel pump and just give it a go. The sun is going down. It's actually quite late. It's going to get dark soon. So if this doesn't start in kind of a few attempts, we'll reconvene tomorrow and I'll have a proper shot at diagnosing exactly what's wrong. But for now, we've got fuel, we've got air, I assume, spark, and compression, enough compression on all of the cylinders to hopefully get this going. But whether the computer is computering and the fuel distributor is distributing is another thing entirely. Okay, I can hear the fuel pump running. What happens then? Are we in park? We're in park. What happens when I turn this key? Go on.
Good luck.
It's the muffin.
I nearly choked on the muffin then.
You nearly choked on the muffin. So did I.
Stop it! Yay! Yay! Well done.
It sounds great. Right, what's this suspension saying? Right, it's idling. Lovely there. We've got, is that an oil pressure gauge? Because if so, we've got good oil pressure. Coolant, temperature. Oh yeah, we've got no coolant, don't forget that. Battery is charging. That's great news. Nothing on here is flashing. These are, oh yeah, engine coolant. These are all going to be on. I mean, half the fuses are missing, so I'm ignoring that. Also, I don't know if I even said this has got 107,000 miles. And then as we talk about the mileage, so earlier on we did a history check just to see if this thing was crash damaged or stolen or whatever else. So what I've done now also is I posted in, it's the rollsroyceforum.com, but they handle all the Bentley stuff. I just posted in there and I said, look, I've got this Bentley, you know, I'm a new owner. Does anyone know anything about this car? And one of the members of that forum has sent me a link to this online auction of this Bentley in July of 2019. And when I read through this, the car was complete at this point. It reckons the estimate is between 8 and 11 grand, and it was really well maintained. It says there's an extensive history file detailing dedicated maintenance and inspections and services. It's got all the service mileages in there. It says in here that all the original pamphlets, the handbook, the Bentley folder and all the documentation are in the car, which is a real shame because I bought this car from Copart and none of that documentation was in the car. Not that that's Copart's fault. Between this auction and me receiving it, all that documentation has gone. You know, maybe we take this with a pinch of salt because they're trying to sell the car, but I've no reason to disbelieve it. It does mean that this Bentley has been really well maintained and looked after, which is absolutely fantastic to see. And so thank you to the member of that forum, Chris Fell, for sending me that information. It's incredibly helpful. Oh, has that come back a little bit? It might have done. What are we saying about, okay, it's a bit smoky, but you know, this car's been sitting for years, so I don't mind that just now. I don't mind that just for the time being. Has that come up? I can't work out if that's come up or not. I think that's just condensation, to be honest with you. It feels wet. That's fine. We'll let it heat up a bit. Get in. Get in. I can't believe it started. First time.
Oh, well done. I
cannot
think it was mine and Arlo's presents here.
Yeah, it was your presents. It's exactly what it was. Hey, I'll tell you what, that's going up. I'm sure of it. Very surely but slowly, that is going up. Yeah, it absolutely is. Yeah, it is, isn't it? I can see it. It's doing it. Right, yeah, I'm in a situation where I don't want to run it too long because I don't want it to overheat, but I also need it to run so that the hydraulic system pressurizes. What I should really do is turn it off and go and get some coolant. Throw some water in it, maybe. This is amazing. Yes. There you go, guys. Look at that. Look, lovely. It's so smooth. It's so quiet, that engine. You know what? That brake pedal has come right back around as well. I think it's I don't know. It's spongy. I'm going to turn it off because I'm worried about the coolant situ. But that is an absolute result. It's still coming up. It's still moving up, that. Ah, yes, get in. Yeah. This car is viable. Not economically, I don't think. But she's a runner. First time running in however many years. Oh, look, I didn't even do this hose back up. This air hose. I should definitely do that. Ladies and gents, oh, fuel. Must turn the fuel off by pulling the cable out. Yes, come on! So it may not look like it, same clothes and everything. Sun's still out, which is amazing, but it's the next day. I did shoot over to Halfords last night to pick up a load of coolant. This is just going to go everywhere. Oh yes, oh perfect. Grab all of this coolant. Now, when I was laying in bed last night doing that thing where you just spend all your time thinking about everything wrong with your project car, it did occur to me that white smoke coming out of the exhaust may not just have been condensation, of course, but may have been a dodgy head gasket or something. It could have been coolant that it was burning. So whether it's a head gasket or a cracked cylinder head or whatever, I very much hope that's not the case, because obviously there's no coolant left in the tank. So I'm just hoping that that's not burning off. Now I've just topped that up. The level hasn't gone down, so I think there might have been coolant in it. I don't know. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to see if the engine basically starts again now. Hopefully it does first time, and then we'll get the old water pump going, push some of this coolant around the system. I've got the bleed screw open, so let's see. Come on, car, start. No, because I don't have my fuel pump running, do I? With my little cable here. And of course I will get to the bottom of why that's not working, but for now. Go on. I mean, there is smoke coming out of the front of the car there. I don't understand what's changed. Literally the only thing that has changed from yesterday evening when it started is the fact that there's now a tiny little bit of coolant in there. But well, I just pulled one of the plugs out. Focus. It's fouled very badly. It's absolutely soaking wet with fuel, so probably flooded the engine. And it is possible to do that with these because these injectors are continuous injectors. So they operate just under mechanical pressure, so you can force fuel past the injectors or through the injectors, I believe, continuously if the pressure is high enough. So I've probably done that somehow. So I need to clean these up really. Oh no, this is how I fancied starting the day. So I've just pulled all the spark plugs out. Here's obviously just two of them. Oh look, we're half in dark, half in light. They're all fouled, all the plugs. So I've cleaned them all up nicely. I've hopefully a bit of fuel and whatever else, fuel mainly, has evaporated now from inside the cylinders with the plugs out. So I'm just going to put them all back in now and then basically just try again. How this battery's got any charge left in it. Maybe that's one of my problems actually. Maybe the battery needs charging. So it's a couple of hours later now. The battery was basically flat. So I'd charged it, took ages. And also the coil, the plugs that go into the top of the coil were a little bit loose, so I just pushed them back in. And there we go, finally. It just started straight up. What are the vitals saying? Battery's charging. Hopefully it does actually charge this time. There is that ticking noise, but I think that might just be... Well, I don't know what that might be, if I'm honest with you. Okay, so it just drank a load of that coolant, which is kind of good to see, I suppose. Okay, so I'm going to keep topping it up with coolant, so hopefully we can keep the car running now a little bit longer. I'm just praying that that smoke or the condensation out of the exhaust does actually start clearing up and it's not actually a head gasket issue or it's using coolant. That's it currently right now, so let's just keep an eye on it. We want the rear to come up more. It's come up a lot. Let's just keep an eye on it. And now that ticking noise is dying down. It didn't sound like it was coming from any of the valve train. It kind of sounds like it's more, I don't know, it sounds like it might even be the AC compressor or something like that, but it doesn't sound like engine mechanicals, which is great news. Come on, clear up, please clear up. There might be loads of water in that exhaust. Or is that blue smoke? Right, so the idle's just dropped loads as well there. Let's give it a little bit of throttle. Oh, does not like that really. That's running rough. Can you hear it? think it might just need the weeds blowing out of it a little bit. It's been running now for 10 minutes. There's a definite misfire. Now I'll let you into a little secret. That back spark plug that I hate so much, I didn't take it out any of the times, so it could still be completely fouled up. Maybe it's that, so I will take that spark plug out in a bit, but I'm just kind of letting it idle. It does seem a little bit like the weeds are blowing out of it a little bit. That ticking noise has stopped, and check this out, this smoke has cleared up. Smoke or water or whatever it was, that's cleared up, so that's really good. Right, listen to it though. You can hear that there's a misfire. Whew. There's an issue with the coolant gauge because it hasn't budged, but I'm not too worried about that because I know there is coolant in there. I wonder if the thermostat is opened. Yeah, that thermostat has opened, and then look how much more that's come up. I think it is still creeping ever so slightly up, so that's good. What about the brake? Let's have a look at the brakes. All right, yeah, there's something there. That might just be what they feel like. A bit spongy, I don't know. Nice. Pretty pleased with that. Also, while I was waiting for the battery to charge, I put two little kind of crimp terminals on that wire just so it goes in the thing a little bit better rather than just shoving bare wire in there. A little bit more sturdy. Right, okay. I really should just pull that. I mean, the engine's absolutely scalding hot now, but I need to get in there, pull that one spark plug out at the very least to have a look, see if it's still all fouled up, and then see if we can get this running a little bit smoother. But I mean, she's an absolute goer, she's an absolute runner. Pretty pleased with this. Okay, so I just pulled out that spark plug. I only burnt myself about 7 times as well. You can see it's quite fouled. Focus. It's quite fouled, and then compare it with, I just pulled out the spark plug just down here. What is this, B2 cylinder? A2, I can't remember now. That's not too bad at all. Right, that back spark plug is in. Oh, great. Rough starting when warm, add that to the list of things. Okay, it finally went. I pulled all the spark plugs out again. So it keeps running really rich, I think. But it did just fire straight up. And it's running smoother, for sure, now that all of those plugs, I think, are okay. So that might have been the cause of our rough running issue. Okay, what I would like to do, just very briefly, is just to see if the car goes into gear and kind of goes forward a little bit. Now, we've got no steering wheel, of course, but I think we've got some brakes, so I might just hold it on the brakes and just really quickly see what happens. Yep. We've got brakes as well, that's great news. Right, forwards. And we've got brakes. So what you can hear there, that scraping was, you know, the spare wheel. It's dragging on the floor. Okay, this will drive to the workshop, I think. Right, you're gonna love this one. So it's another day later. I needed parts, so I'm down here. I've just come down to my local parts store to pick them up, the little bits that I've ordered. I'm in the van, and I got in the van absolutely fine, started fine, drove here absolutely fine, and I've just got back in it. Absolutely nothing. Nothing whatsoever. No clicking, no noises, no buzzing, no lights, no, just, it's as if there is no battery in this van. And of course there is a battery in this van, it's right there. And it's all connected, there's no funniness going on. So my life is just full of unreliable junk. I should probably do something about that as a concept. But right now, what I've done is I've called John from Torque Monkey, who isn't far from here at all. He's going to come down with a jump pack. Now, the funny thing is that I've actually got all my tools and a jump pack in the back of this van. But the little quirk of this van is that the back doors, they have courier locks. So they have this weird key. And the only way these keys work, so if I put it in there, look, absolutely nothing happens. The only way you can get this key to work is if you come in here and you unlock the door. But of course I can't unlock the door because there's absolutely no power, so I just cannot get in the back of the van. You know, this is a terrible design. It's great if you're a courier, but not great if you're me. And you know what, I have just recently started thinking about buying at least one brand new vehicle that I can have that has a warranty, that I can just take back to the dealership to get fixed, to avoid situations like this. But I just really dislike new vehicles. They don't do it for me. But they don't break down like this all the time, I don't think. At least if I need a battery, I'm in the right place. Help has just arrived.
I'm not happy about this.
You're not happy?
I'm not happy in the slightest.
He's got the goods though.
I've got the goods. I've got something.
Well, yeah, it's probably just a battery then, is it? Or the
Could
old
just buy a new
alternate
battery.
is not charging.
You know what? GSF are just down the road. Could have gone and bought a battery.
I've got no battery light on or anything, so I reckon it must just be the battery dead.
What if we unplug it?
Oh no, hang on. Yeah, unplug it, see what happens. Oh, very strange. I think it just threw an absolute wobbler, so I just put the multimeter on it to check, and it's charging just fine. But as soon as we turned it on, I turned the van off because I remembered I needed to get the key off of the thing, off of the key ring. But then it just turned straight back on instantly, and the jump pack was disconnected. So I just cannot work that out. Okay, so I'm back home, and now, as if nothing ever happened, I've got power every time I turn the key, and the engine starts just fine. The battery's fully charged. What? Anyway, I got my parts. So I have made a bit of progress, and what I've got in here is a new sensor for the temperature gauge sensor thing, so that I can keep an eye on the gauge, because it turns out that these cars are actually, well, these engines I should say, are actually very prone to overheating, especially when they start getting a little bit old, and they're very, very easy to overheat and completely kill. So I definitely want to be keeping an eye on my temperature gauge, and hopefully this is what's wrong. I haven't tested it, I've just bought a new one. And then what I've got in here is a flasher relay, so I can get the indicators to work. Now let me show you inside the engine bay, that is. So, or actually around the other side. Another thing that I was missing in this car was this module, the headlamp control unit. So I had to buy one of these. This is obviously second-hand, £200, fantastic. A load of new fuses in there, and I'm pleased to say we now have headlights. So if we just, I fixed the horn kind of as well. Tell you about that in a second. If I flick the headlights on, there you go. Oh, well, we did have two headlights working. Oh, what's happened there? Okay, maybe my bulb's gone out, but we've got one. That one was definitely working. And I've no idea if you're going to be able to see this or not with the sun, but we do actually have brake lights. I've filled in a load more important fuses in there. Don't worry about this, that'll go back on. Filled in a few of them, the important ones. A lot of the ones that are missing are just, you know, the electric seat controls and windows and things like that, things that aren't I don't need to get this car to drive. There's a couple of relays in there. I have bought a load more relays too. But the next job that I want to do is to get my indicators to work. Now, I imagine a load of you actually noticed when I first took you around this car that we were missing the indicator stalk. Now, you can see there's one right here hanging. I just had to buy this. I think this was another £100. So I don't think it's from a Bentley Turbo R. So if you didn't know about these cars, like you still do today, you know, where Volkswagen and Audi and whoever else, Seat, they all share parts among themselves throughout the Volkswagen group. It was very much the same back in the day with Bentley and Rolls-Royce as well. So I'm pretty sure that this was off of a Rolls-Royce Silver Spirit, but it's the same one on that, it's the same one as this, and I think it actually went back older cars as well. I think this exact same stalk was used. So I've plugged it in down there. Now we don't have indicators, largely because that flasher relay I've just bought isn't installed. But if you listen out, so if I push this in, we get the washer. You've listened? Oh, in fact, not even listen, look. You can kind of see it there, so that works. And if I pull it towards me, you're not going to be able to see it, but we do actually get main beams. So what I need to do though is I need to work out exactly where this fits to, how it all goes in. I'm not sure if it's there or actually if it's on the back there, whatever. Oh wow, I'll get all that sorted. And then also the horn, so this is the horn that was out of the steering wheel already. And then we are really close, I hope, to actually getting this car on the road so that we can take it to the workshop for further repairs. But we're very close. We are very close. I can feel it. I can feel it. Apache gunship. Not something you see flying overhead every day. So I've got the indicator wiper stalk all mounted up. That's good. I also had to buy this. This is a hazard warning lamp switch thinger. So this whole panel here is obviously missing. This is where it's like the fan control, you know, air conditioning control. That's where all of that is. Now, it's not with the car, so that's going to be a panel I'm going to have to source at a later date. But I did get a hazard switch and I've plugged that in. And so now, if we turn the key, ignore the fact that that's flashing. With the flash, I've installed the flasher relay down there, which you might be able to hear. We have got indicators. They're working all around, so that's pretty good. That, very happy with that. But there's obviously, you know, this whole car has been, all of the electrics on this car have been gutted basically. We've worked that out, haven't we? But hang on, let me squeeze you through here. So that bulb over there wasn't working, was it? Well, watch this. If I turn the headlights on, what are we saying? We're saying that this one's on and then nothing else. But then if I activate the full beam on the new stalk that I've just fitted, all four colours. So it's not a bulb issue. It's something, there's a gremlin, isn't there? There's an electrical gremlin going on. I'm not entirely sure what it is. This is the most involved with any electrics I've ever had to do on any car ever. So, and then you should be able to see as well the other indicator works, and it's the same on the back as well. They're working all good. Hey, hello Maggie. How are you doing? You remember you used to be in the videos all the time back in the day. Now you rarely leave the house. You've been enjoying the weather, haven't you? The weather's been a lot nicer this last few days. She's a home girl, this cat. Never goes outside the perimeter of our fence. And likes the sofa indoors a lot, don't you? And then one other thing that I've done, I'm hoping you can see it, but right down in there you can see there's that new sensor. That's the temperature coolant sensor thing, you know, that sends the temperature to the temperature gauge sender is right down there at the bottom of this whole kind of thermostat housing assembly stuff with a load of other sensors. You've got the actual coolant temperature sensor down there as well. Oh, this one I think it is. I've tested that works. Yeah, and then here you can see the old one and the new one. And I'm not really going to know now until I turn the engine on if that gauge is working or not. Right, so I think I've worked out what's gone on with the horn. So there's this piece here, it's got that ring attached to it. That goes over the steering column there, and I imagine provides earth. And then you've got a socket here. And then this is the wire that was in the centre of the column. This obviously needs a connector on it. And then I'm assuming both of those, one will plug into this bit there, and then one will plug into that. If I get this cable, so it's already stripped. Where's my little connector? Ooh. Where's my connector gone? Right, the relay. Where is it? In my mouth. Honestly. It's like, you know, when you lose your keys and they're in your pocket. I'm just going to get this little connector then, just a little spade connector, fit it over the end of that, and then with a pair of regular pliers, because again I don't have my crimps here with me. I'm just gonna, this will be fine for a temporary thing. It probably won't be temporary, will it? Oh, it will probably be very permanent. That to there. Key. Where's that? It's not in my mouth. Oh god, I need to sort this seat out, there is no room. Okay, and then key in. Sweet. Right. I need to move this chair. I really need to move this chair back because I don't think I'm going to get very far driving. No, to be fair, that is drivable. Just quite close. So here's the situation with these seats. If I lift this up, it can get you in there. So I think what we're looking at here, these look like the motors to actually move the seats, but you can see there's all of these plugs here, so they look like actually the plugs that go into the motor. I imagine they're the power. That's the power, but then everything else in here, there's all these other plugs. There's one there. There's a load down there. They're all unplugged because this car has ECUs for the seats. It must have been one of the first cars to have kind of memory seats, surely. I mean, it's just, there's all the memory buttons, and that's how you actually control. So you actually control these seats. There's a multi-way control. Very clever, 1989 car. I imagine they were doing it before this, but the memory stuff in that is why you've got the ECU, and everything goes through the ECU. But I am thinking, at the end of the day, these bits here are just electrical motors, right? And if that's the plug, what about if I gave some of these pins 12 volts? Do you think I could just power the motors and get this seat just to kind of move back just enough to make it a little bit more comfortable for me, you know, to about there? Okay, so here's my mad plan, having never done anything like this before. This is just another spare battery I had knocking around. You'll see that I've got the mole grips on a piece of wire just attached to the negative terminal there. And then what I've done on this side is just put on one of these terminal connectors, and then I'm going to plug that into that plug like that, onto like that. And then what I've got is another wire with another one on there. I'm going to plug it into another socket on that plug and then tap this end on the positive terminal. It's not pretty, and I'm no electrical engineer, but I only need to give the motors in this seat a little bit of juice, surely, and it will just... Well, I can believe it worked because it's relatively logical. That worked a treat, look. Perfect. Well, it's not quite perfect, I'd still... No, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. I am an electrical genius. Now what I need to do is something very important, and that is to check the pressure of the braking system. So I mentioned it a couple of times. The braking system is joined with the suspension system. It's all hydraulic. It runs off a pump off the engine. The working pressure is supposed to be 2,500 psi, but I'm not going to bore you with all of the details because I nearly fell asleep myself researching it. But the system needs to be able to hold pressure when the engine is off. There's accumulators, they hold pressure while the engine is off because it runs the braking system just works differently in this car. Now here's how I'm going to test all of this. So the car hasn't run for a day or two, so when I turn the ignition on, you can see these two lights there, they're flashing. They are the brake lights. That is basically telling us that there isn't enough pressure in the system, and you know, to drive the car right now would be dangerous. You'd potentially lose your brakes. So what I need to do is I need to start the engine, get it running for a bit, get the hydraulic system pressurized. Those lights should go out, and then I'm going to turn the car off, pump the brake pedal about 50 times, and if those lights come on after about 50 times, that means our system is good. So this is the part that I've actually been really worried about, because this braking system is really complex and very expensive. So I hope it passes this test. If it does, great. And obviously I still haven't fixed any of this fuel pump stuff. We're still just going off this jumper cable. I've got no intention of fixing it just yet. There you go. Still doesn't sound great, does it? And what we want to see is those two flashing lights go out. Just going to pull the revs up a bit. Oh look there, one went out. Yes, result. Yes. That's made me really happy. I'm just going to keep running the engine a little bit just to build full pressure, because just because those lights have gone out does not mean the system's at full pressure. I'll keep this going for a little bit, then I'll turn the engine off and then we'll try the next check. Okay, the engine's been running a little while. It's great to see that I've got power steering. It's not great to see that my temperature gauge still isn't working. So that fuel sender, what am I talking about? The temperature sender that I replaced, no bueno. They're all working. I'll just put more fuses in and you can see the clock's now working. So I'm gonna have to get to the bottom of that. Right, so let's turn the engine off. And of course, let's not forget to turn the fuel pump off. So what I'm going to do now is I need to pump the pedal about 50 times before these lights come on. I think if it's below about 20, then it's dangerous. Above 20 is good, but ideally we want about 50 pumps. And that means that there's enough reserve pressure in this system to get us out of any trouble. Right, there you go, come on. Now that was actually really good. They both came on after over 50 pumps of the pedal. So I'm calling that actually rather healthy with everything that I've seen online. So that's an absolute result. That's an absolute result. So brakes, good. Suspension, good. Should we see if this thing drives up and down my driveway? Question is though, will this start? How many vehicles can I get to start in one video? Yes, okay. And here's the other one. This is Mowgli. Neither of these cats named by us. They're both kind of rescue, rehomed cats. Say hello. Bye-bye. Okay. Right, let's move this. Okay, and then the other thing that I did, now that the car's actually lifted itself up enough, there was enough room to slide the spare wheel out. It was dragging on the floor, wasn't it? And the carrier just needed pinning back up. It's just on a little clip, so I just clipped it back up. And then we need to obviously secure the boot lid with this very original factory boot clamping device. This is only on there ever so gently. It's not rubbing the paint or anything, so don't worry. Okay, so let's have a look then, see if this car will drive under its own power for the first time in my ownership, more than just a few inches back and forth. Come on, old girl. Oh. We're off. Hey! Oh, she's big. Wow. Yes, will she brake? Oh god, yeah, she does. Quite violently. Reverse. The brakes you can feel that the brakes haven't been used in a little while. There's a little bit of surface rust on them for sure. That really wasn't too bad at all. Shall we take it to the workshop? Right, let's get going. Let's see how she fares. Righto, 1989 Bentley Turbo R, running and driving. Lovely. It's not actually that big, this car, really. It's not that wide. Well, maybe it is, it just doesn't feel it. And we're off. Is it going to shift? So this has only got a 3-speed gearbox, believe it or not. There we go, there's second. That was smooth, that was lovely. Make sure the brakes are good while we're going slow. Yep. What a lovely car. I mean, the interior still needs fully putting back together, of course, but this is lovely. Wow, the ride is absolutely unbelievable. That is so soft and smooth. Oh, ladies and gents, this is absolutely lovely. Keeping an eye on all of my gauges. Everything looks okay still. There's no weird noises, no weird rattles. I did put the steering wheel off centre a little bit, but that's fine, that can be fixed really easily. Yeah, brakes are working lovely actually. New favourite car. I've gone half a mile. This is my new favourite car. What a lovely thing. Well, I'll tell you what, you can feel the torque of this engine. So it delivers, I believe, its maximum power at a very low 4,500 RPM. This isn't a power machine, this is a torque machine. And it is absolutely lovely. What a car. I could probably do with getting the seat back just a little bit further for sure. But now I know that that's relatively easy to do without having to source an ECU. Lord only knows how much that costs. Remember, there's nothing more expensive than a cheap Bentley. I can see people as I'm driving past them, they're pointing and looking at this car. It's got an amazing presence on the road. I can't remember smiling this hard driving any of my other cars. I've gone a mile and a half. Smiles per mile are out of control. Out of control. If you can hear a little bit of a whistling, that sounds like there's air coming through the vents. So definitely something to take a look at. And you know what, actually, now we've got going, I think my temperature gauge is actually working. That's amazing news. That is actually working, I think. It's come up. So maybe there was nothing wrong with the old temperature sender. Maybe there just wasn't enough temperature in it. Lovely thing. What a lovely thing. This is the most fun thing ever, reviving these old cars like this. It's just brilliant. If you're enjoying this video, please do me a massive favour and hit the subscribe button. It means the world to me, and I value your continued support, but getting those subscribers up, it does actually help. Just cruising around in my Bentley. As you do. You open it up a bit on this bit of dual carriageway. Oh. Lovely. I mean, it's just keeping up with all this modern traffic. An absolute breeze. 300 brake horsepower, give or take, when it was new. I'm just... There are just pedestrians and people in cars just staring. I have never driven a car. There's so many people just staring. Can you tell that I'm loving every second of this? It's Martin from Renault Tech, giving me a massive smile and a nod, which is the exact thing you want because he is a petrol head. Should we see Torque Monkey? What a lovely car! Yeah, they do ratchet strap boot holders. It's a factory option, 1 year only, 89. I've got the door card though in the back. I need all of the motors.
That is brilliant. That is proper old school.
Yeah, it's a chain driven.
Chain. Brilliant.
Yeah, it's great, this, isn't it?
It's a bloody boat.
It's a boat. I tell you what, I've never driven anything that so just cruises over bumps. Like, you can't feel anything. It's amazing. The ride is absolutely incredible.
There's the fork marks.
The Copart fork marks. I haven't looked under this once.
Well,
I daredn't. Don't tell me.
The silencers that shamefully don't look that old.
Oh, the forklifts have got the silencer.
It's flat slightly.
Oh, is it? Well, we'll get under this at some point anyway. But
you're gonna keep this for your daily, aren't you?
I'm going to keep this as a daily. 1,000,000% this is a daily. What an amazing car. What an amazing car. Ladies and gents, that was fun. I think this is going to be my new daily, which means there are definitely, I promise, going to be more videos on this car. Need to take it through an MOT, make sure it's road legal, and then I'm going to go right through it and do all the little bits, make it run really sweet, maintain all the things that need maintaining. Right, thanks for watching, thanks for joining me on this little adventure, and I'll see you soon.